Hello and welcome back to our ranged-only challenge in Bannerlord. And we're going to be helping this particular person's army as we go and attack Morinia Castle. Now, the main reason why I'm helping here is, well, one, I'd actually like to participate in a siege for once. And two, I'd actually like to see whether we have any enemies approaching us in the very, very near future. And in which case, we're hopefully going to be able to join the fight alongside our allies here and maybe just get some decent... oh. That's a good start, isn't it? That is an absolutely wonderful start. Very good. Okay, I actually thought that those were enemies because they didn't seem to have any icon above their head, but they apparently did. And I am an imbecile. Yes, I am indeed an imbecile. Okay. Well, that's absolutely fine, because we are doing well, as you can see. We're actually getting some pretty nice headshots right here. I did take some damage, but obviously that is to be expected. And these guys basically did not construct any, any siege equipment at all, which I gotta say, a little bit of a dubious decision. I personally would have preferred that they don't do that. I think it would have been much better if they decided to go for, you know, at least a siege ram or something like that. Don't really need to make a siege tower if they don't want to. But a ram definitely would have made quite a bit of sense. But, oh well, never mind, never mind. Okay, now this is exactly the reason why I wanted to come in here, because I do get now the opportunity to deal massive damage to some people from a safe position. A relatively safe position, shall we say. And we don't really have to worry too much about any kind of damage being done to us, especially considering we are actually on foot right now, and obviously being on foot is probably the most weak that we can be, because if we had a horse, obviously we have the mobility on our side. That guy had a shield up as well. That was unfortunate. Would have liked to have taken him down, but yeah, there's a bunch of people actually going into the gates here as well. Amusingly enough, how are we even in the gates? I wouldn't have expected that I would be able to get in there so easily, but apparently my forces either had the gates being opened for them, which I think is the most probable, or they use their just regular melee abilities just to knock down the gate itself, which I don't think is the case either. So it seems like they must have opened up the gate somehow. I don't know why the enemy does that sometimes, but, you know, I'm not really complaining. I mean, it's obviously going to help us. Let's just actually have a look. Yeah. Oh. There you go. Yeah, okay, I opened it. Alright, yeah. So you can actually do that on the... Yeah, okay. On the right side, by the looks of things, you can actually do that, so you can close it as well if you want to. Yeah, so if you're inside... Oh, that actually gives me an idea, actually. Maybe it would be really cool if I tried to do that in the future. And maybe not with this character, but maybe with a different character, something that actually has a decent amount of athletic skill or something like that, because, well, let's face it, I'm kind of a sitting duck with this one. You know, I'm pretty much just standing there, you know, or sitting, and then I'm basically dead, almost, just from being on foot, you know? But I think that could be a pretty cool strategy to try and get inside the walls and then hopefully open up the gates to our friendly units. I did lose... What? How did I lose 22 units? Are you serious right now? Oh, well. Never mind. I mean, that's just going to happen, isn't it? That's just going to happen. I was actually planning on going through Azerai territory and recruiting a bunch of extra units, because I'm doing pretty nicely when it comes to my archers. As you can see, I have what is this now? 40. Wait a minute. Yeah, 49. So that's actually 51 now. And that's pretty decent. That is pretty decent. I think I had 55 before we actually headed into this siege, so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I'm not entirely sure why that happened, to be fair. I would have thought that the allies would have been the ones to move in there, but okay, well, never mind. I guess we're going to be voting. I'm going to vote for this guy. We're going to spend 60 on him, because I've got such a huge relation with this fellow that it doesn't really matter too much about him, but the other one... I don't really have a huge amount of relation with him, so it would probably make sense for me to do it that way. New car is going to be heading in there. That's actually perfect because we are now just going to, we're just going to auto-resolve this. Should be easy enough. We're going to get some very, very quick relation. We're also going to take this guy prisoner. I don't really care too much about the prisoners that he has, so we're just going to be leaving them where they are. Anyway, let's move on over to Vostrum right now because, as you can see, Lavinia Castle has actually come under siege, and as I said before, I would like to do army versus army battles as much as we possibly can, because if we can do that, everything is going to work out, ooh yeah, just absolutely wonderfully, because if we can do it, it's going to give us a good amount of experience, and generally it's just going to give us, well, all benefits, pretty much. Just all benefits, no downsides, with the exception of maybe losing a couple of people here and there. But in general, if I'm actually doing my job right, which I should be, I shouldn't really lose anyone at all. And look at this. This is actually crazy. Look at this price right here. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I do have wow, I actually have a pretty significant herd deficit at the moment, mainly because I don't have a huge amount of troops. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell off a couple of my desert horses right here. Going to sell off a couple of sumpter horses, couple of mules. Actually, I can't do that because we are now below carry capacity, as you can see right there. So we're just going to do this, and the herd deficit is still present, so we're just going to sell a couple more desert horses, and I think that's probably going to be all I can really do. Let's just sell a couple of these things while we have the ability to do so, and I've sold everything else. What about food, actually? This is probably a good idea. So let's just sell a couple of pieces of grain. Technically, I could sell dates and olives for a decent price here, but I'm thinking we'll just leave it the way it is for the moment. Hardwood, I actually have a huge amount of hardwood. This is also a reason why we are being weighed down quite considerably, so I might need to do something about that too, but obviously hardwood, it is used for smithing, so that's the reason why I'm keeping it, at least for the moment. Okay, so I think we're probably just going to have to deal with that. Oh yeah, he doesn't have enough. You know what? Just take it. Just take it. It's all right. No problem at all. All right, we're making peace with the Southern Empire. Right, we are actually making peace with them. That is actually kind of bad, but we're not looking to get any kind of army versus army battle currently going on here, so I suppose we will make peace. I'm going to spend 100 influence on this, because it's going to take me, well, it's going to give me a lot of charm XP, and it's going to give me a huge amount of relation with this guy, and it's not really going to make that much difference to my overall performance here, because, well, if this fellow's army is walking in this direction, then it's highly unlikely that he was going to go up here and actually have us fight against the other army as well. So that's kind of sad, but, you know, can't really do much about it now. Anyway, let's just see what kind of reinforced padded mittens. I actually might need some gloves. I think these are better than what I have. Is that true? I'm not entirely sure, but I have some thrown weapons. Okay, let's see if I can maybe make use of these. Hello there. Oh, 93 damage. That was some pretty decent damage. And maybe I can do some damage to this guy. Okay, no. Nice. Taking him down. Thank you. What? What is this? I am apparently magical with not ranged, with thrown weapons in this particular round. What's going on there? That's kind of strange. Anyway, there we go. We were able to achieve victory. These are going to be very short rounds if these guys are literally just throwing me into like free-for-alls and stuff like that. It's going to be super, super easy. Okay, so let's just take this guy. Yeah, come on. Yeah, get him. There we go. Nice. Okay, I probably should have focused on the green fellow, let's face it. He's got some good gear. Isn't this Mornid? This is Mornid. Hello there, sir. Oh, well, that was easy enough, wasn't it? Alright, so now let's do this. Basically, betting for me at the moment is pretty much pointless, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing it, but alright. We've got 2 companions here. I've got to make sure that I defend my archer. Oh, nice one. Nice one, Imperial Militia Veteran Spearman? Really? Why is he using a bow? I don't know, but alright. Let's see if we can do some damage here. There we go. Yeah, I see that my companions are not very good at using their bows. yet, because I have given them bows, and I am wanting for them to focus on leveling those things up, but I don't think they gained very much experience, to be honest. I think it's very slow for them to gain experience unless they are particularly lucky with kills. Anyway, there you go. 3 renown. Let's take a look at the padded mittens. I think they might actually be quite good for me, but I could be wrong about that. No, as you can see, they are actually a pretty significant upgrade. Amazingly enough, I can't believe that I'm literally running around with gloves and boots that you could basically, put on some guy that's just started playing the game, pretty much. Okay, so let's have a look and see if I can maybe find some better ones. Oh, well, I can find some better gloves almost instantly, so I'm thinking I'll probably do that, but then we'll just give Mornid these ones. As you can see, he was using relatively similar ones to what I had on previously. She's going to get an upgrade as well, which is actually quite nice. And then Newson is wearing the exact same stuff. Can I get some boots? Yes. Actually, this is Newson. There we go. There we go. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Oh, wait a minute. Lamella plate boots. Ooh, they're looking pretty nice too. Okay, let's buy a couple of those because Newson definitely needs some boots. I took off his boots, obviously, as you can see. So let's buy some more. There we go. Let's give some more to our people. Very good. All right, so yeah, they're basically all kitted out now, by the way. I haven't really updated you on what kind of gear the companions are wearing, but generally they're actually looking pretty nice right now. Most of them have decent stuff, with the exception of Newson's gloves, as you can see right there, but most of them have a decent cape. Pretty good body armor, I've got to say, and apart from that, they don't really need anything else. They're using step bows at the moment, as far as I'm aware, because I don't think they have any good skill otherwise. And but yeah, that's pretty much how things are going for me right now. All right, so I think we're pretty good here. Is there a better bow than what I'm currently using here? There's a heavy recurve bow, but it's, as you can see, worse than what I'm using, so I'm pretty happy with that. Step war bow is obviously the best that I have access to at the moment. Okay, pretty happy. Let's move on. We're going to pay 17,000 for that. No problem at all there. And I suppose what I'm going to do is I'm going to run around Azerai territory, try and gain some more troops. And inevitably they are going to be infantry, just so you know. You know, it is the way of things. It's not like I can just recruit straight away, you know, ranged units and so on, because that's just not how the game works. You can't get ranged immediately from just recruiting from 0, pretty much. I wish you could, because that would definitely be pretty cool. Oh, Rebels and Epicrotia. Wait a minute. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Epicrotia's Rebels. Yeah, so basically, I don't know whether you saw that in the one of the previous episodes, but Onira also had a similar situation happen with the Rebels there, and they created their own small minor faction. And I assume the Sturgians are going to have a relatively easy time of taking this back. But if their garrison is rather significant, I obviously can't tell how many are in there at the moment. But if it is, they're going to have a pretty big fight on their hands. Well, as we are currently dealing with, well, kind of extended peace at the moment, mainly because it appears as though our only enemy, or shall we say, our only eligible enemy most of the time is going to be the Southern Empire. We kind of have to busy ourselves in between. Now, obviously, that takes a long time, alright? That takes a long time. Usually I spend about an hour, maybe more, maybe less, give or take, off screen, trying to progress to the next time when we actually declare war against them, because there's not really much more that I can do in the game as a result of this. So what I'm actually just going to show you right now is a way that you can level up your troops really, really quickly without having to do much work. And this is obviously combined with the fact that I do have a pretty significant amount of trainer skill, quote unquote. You know, if you know warband terminology, then you'll know that trainer skill was basically the thing to use to level up lower level troops. But in Bannerlord, they've kind of spread out trainer skill into other things, and I'm not sure if I really like that, to be honest, because, like, for example, we have this thing right here, which is Raise the Meek, 4 XP per day to tier 1, 2 troops, which in my opinion is alright. Certainly not something that's amazing, but it's okay. And then we have Steward skill here as well. All troops gain +2 daily XP. So far, we're gaining 6 XP every single day. And I don't think there's anything else. As far as I'm aware, I don't think any other skill at the moment that I have currently does anything to help us out with that. Ah, there we go. This is actually quite good, as you can see right here. +2 daily XP gain to all troops in garrison in governed settlements. So that's actually pretty cool. So you could technically do that. Also, as you can see there, ranged troops in your formation gain 10% of the total experience after battles. That could add up very significantly, and that would be something quite good. This, on the other hand, not so much. So if we were to get to 200 skill, increasing the morale of our archers and ranged troops 30% cheaper to recruit and to upgrade, I personally don't care about that. I mean, when you get to 200 bow skill, this is just not going to make that much difference. Like 30% cheaper, who cares, right? I mean, you're going to be swimming in money by that point anyway. So anyway, Bullseye is the way to go at 200 bow skill, at least in my opinion. But yes, anyway, this is the kind of task that you want to get when you want to level up your troops really, really quickly, because you don't really want to fight these guys. You don't want to fight these guys either. Anything that is like 6 people, 8 people, 10 people, you probably don't want to fight that stuff. You usually want to fight something that is far, far larger. So I'm hopeful for maybe a band of 20, maybe a band of something like that. I'm not seeing them right now, though. I've got to say, I'm actually kind of a little bit weirded out by that, because most of the time when I take this quest, I get significant numbers, and I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. Okay, so there we go. We had the help of the 1700 army, which is actually hilarious, but yes, apparently we did, because they wandered close enough to them. And yeah, okay, so never mind. Apparently this is certainly not giving me the same amount of experience gain that I had actually hoped. But, oh, here we go, here we go. Ah, now they've actually graduated a little bit. Now they're graduating over to larger looter parties, and this is a really good way to level up your troops super easily, because you don't have to chase these looters across the entirety of the area. You can basically just run at them, and then eventually they're going to stop. And I'm actually kind of partially wondering whether this would be a really good way to have things done in the first place anyway, because as it stands, just look at how slow sometimes our army can be, and look at how fast the looters can be. They can be so fast that you're going to be chasing after these guys at breakneck speed, as fast as your army can possibly go. But it's just not going to be enough. And that is, in my opinion, a bit of a problem. I think that might need to be fixed or changed in some way. I know that there are mods out there that actually do add some kind of exhaustion system to the bandits themselves. So in general, what you're going to have is you're going to have a situation where you're chasing after a bandit for more than 30 seconds. Well, then they're going to start slowing down ever so slightly, which in my opinion is actually pretty cool. I like that a lot, because it's realistic in quite a sense about it. You know, it's going to be very much a realistic situation on your hands there, because if you think about it, aren't any pursuer or pursuee in this case going to get tired? Aren't their horses going to get tired? Aren't they going to need to rest at some point or another? They're not just going to be able to continue running at the fastest speed that they possibly can, and they're going to continue doing that for days upon days upon days. So that's obviously something that might need to be changed in the base game, because otherwise, you know, new players that are going to pick up the game, they're going to think to themselves, okay, I can get a relatively large army here. This is actually a perfect quest as well to do, by the way, because look at this, 55 desert bandits, just going to go straight on in there. Don't really care about losses at this point, but these prisoners are going to come in mighty handy. Look at the experience gain right here. This is also, you know, the way that I actually level up lower tier units as well. When I'm off screen, generally I do these kinds of things, and you can see here that it's pretty fast. It's not the fastest. I'm pretty sure you could probably find a way that you can level up just that much quicker, but I think it's doing quite well. Now, bear in mind that I haven't lost all my Master Archers either, by the way. I just went to my garrison, my castle's garrison, and placed a whole bunch in there because it is peacetime, so there's really no real need to be worrying about whether they get killed or not. It's highly unlikely that they will. Ah, look at that. There's actually an archer right there. That's really good. Basically, I'm looking out for units that are going to level up into skirmishers, and if they are tier 2 or 3 or even 4, then it is my lucky day. Oh yes, it is my lucky day. So, generally, as I was saying before, new players that pick up the game, and they're gonna go in, you know, they're gonna basically throw themselves into it. So they're gonna be like, okay, I want to recruit the biggest army that I possibly can, you know, just like anyone would, right? You want to build a big army, you want to have fun commanding your troops, and then you go and you're like, oh, okay, so I want to kill these looters. Can I kill these looters? And because maybe they're not too familiar with how the game works, or generally how you know, Mount and Blade works in total, they're going to take things a bit easy. So they're going to attack a small looter party. Well, if they wanted to do that, the looter party is going to be way too fast for them. And in my opinion, that is going to pretty quickly frustrate a new player, and they're not going to know why that's happening, and it's just going to be kind of a frustrating experience for them in the game, and they're going to stop playing it and maybe even refund the game. So it's kind of a bit of a problem, you know what I mean? It's like, sure, okay, there definitely should be speed in the game, of course. I mean, every single party should move at a different speed, but I feel like looters, especially, at least the tier 1 bandit parties, they should just be basically fodder. They should just be fodder as much as possible for any people that want to get some quick experience or whatever the case. Maybe desert bandits could be a bit faster because obviously they have cavalry and so on, and maybe they could last a little bit longer when it comes to extended pursuits and things like that. But in general, I would definitely say that needs to be looked at least in my opinion. Maybe not in yours, but in general, I think that would definitely help the new player experience. Because I've seen a number of new players say this kind of thing where they just can't level up forces. They can't find any looters to fight. And generally, I'm finding a whole bunch of these. But that's the point. Think about this guy right here. 3.4 speed. I'm moving at 4.8. But I'm only moving at 4.8 because I have a massive amount of horses in my inventory. And I'm generally moving faster because of nomadic traditions as well. I'm not having any kind of herd deficit. And generally, I'm adhering to the rules of the game, so to speak. But a new player is not really going to know about this kind of stuff, and is generally not going to be as high level when they first initially start playing. So it's going to be kind of annoying, right? It's going to be kind of annoying. Because I've had that multiple times happen as well, and even I get frustrated. And I'm kind of like a big fan of the game, or a veteran of the game, whatever you want to say, and generally that kind of experience is not something you want to have on a daily basis. So yeah, anyway, I think that's basically going to be it for this episode. I don't think I can actually do anything else unless you want to see me run around leveling up these low-level troops, and I personally don't think you do. Do you? I don't think you do, but it was nice to see you, because technically I'm not seeing you at all, but still, the point is, it was nice to have you watch this at least a little bit, and hopefully there's going to be a war declaration coming sometime soon, and then we'll be able to begin a couple of fights and skirmishes and try to level up our forces once again. I'm going to level up my forces as much as I possibly can. At least what I'm going to try to do is going to try to get these skirmishers leveled up into archers, and then I'll take out my master archers from my garrison, and then I should be able to field an entire ranged-only army. And bear in mind, I still have 2 deaths to give up as well. So there's also that to anticipate with bated breath, I suppose you could call it. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.